evening, my fellow exorcists, and welcome to the Lair of the Film Exorcist. Tonight, Cinema Witch and I will be reviewing Spider-Man 3. Peter Parker and Mary Jane seem to finally be on the right track in their complicated relationship, but trouble looms for the superhero and his lover. Peter's Spider-Man suit turns black and takes control of him, not only giving Peter enhanced power, but also bringing out the dark side of his personality. Peter must overcome the suit's influence as two supervillains, Sandman and Venom, rise up to destroy him and all those he holds dear. Okay, enough of this, boys. I can't fucking do this. This movie is so fucking bad.
Cap.
Any review you've seen? Yeah, no, throw that fucking shit away because this is so... No, this is not a Spider-Man movie. This is a... What the fuck was I watching? Like, me and Cinema here could not stop talking about this movie throughout it.
It's definitely the most interesting one. For sure. I mean, like, I knew, like, going into this that it was bad, but, like, watching the first two and then watching this one, like, it is so, like, it feels so different, like, in quality and just in every way possible.
I picked on Peter and, James Franco more than I picked on Topher Grace in this, like, one example of this movie that I couldn't, like, I've seen Double Toasted, the review of this movie, when they did it, and it's just like, there's this coffee house scene, and it's like, how's the pie?
So good.
Just like, why that face? Why? I don't think I've ever tasted pie that good and wanted to make a fool of myself that badly. And this is followed up by this, in the same scene, he tries to pull a Batman, like, a truck comes in front of Peter and disappears, and then we're looking for James Franco. You see the guy in the background, the black guy in the background, and he's looking down like, sir, what are you doing on the floor?
Like, James Franco.
He might see me.
James Franco just laying on the floor.
I mean, I can literally imagine that in post-production, just like, okay, Mr. Franco, we need you to lay on the floor in this scene. Yes, we know you look like an idiot. Yes, we know people are going to make fun of this scene. No, we aren't changing it. We're sorry, this is the end of your career. Please do the scene. Peter gets the power of jazz in this movie, just
True.
like... And again, Double Toast obliterated this scene, and I'm not gonna do it any justice from them, but... The symbiote supposedly knows piano and teaches Peter piano. Also teaches him how to be the exact replica of a drug addict on the street.
Alright, so I think I have a justification for the symbiote teaching him jazz. Alright, so he has that thing with sound.
Yeah.
Like he's very sensitive to sound, so maybe he's just like really good with like rhythm and like melodies and movements. I just came up with that.
Guys, you can't see this behind the puppet, but I am holding my face because that is the dumbest fucking explanation I could hear in my life. Like,
Wait, did you watch this movie?
Yes, I watched this movie, but I can't. Like, the black suit is...
When he was like, you didn't see the bottom half of his body?
Oh my god,
making,
yes.
like, weird faces?
We were talking about the scene where, this is right after Peter learns about, Flint Marko, aka Sandman, killing his uncle, and he's just having dreams of his uncle, and, replaying every event of the first movie, of when
How many
uncle
times are we gonna watch this scene of his uncle dying? Oh my god, just lay him to rest.
I'm not gonna lie, they kind of ruined it for me in this movie with that. The scene where he's doing this, he's laying in bed, the suit is taking over, and you see him squirming, and you see him like jolt up, lay back down, jolt. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but I think Tobey Maguire was having an orgasm in this scene. I'm calling it the Peter tingle, but yeah, this is just...
Oh my god.
This is not how you do a bad dream scene.
Every time Tobey Maguire is mad in this movie, it is the goofiest thing I've ever seen. Like, it is not convincing at all.
Guys, we've seen Peter mad before in these movies. We've seen him mad, and this isn't Peter mad. This is Peter constipated throughout the entire movie. Like, when he's fighting Sandman in the sewers. One, it's literally ping pong. Not ping pong.
I said pinball. But
Pinball.
It's like ding ding ding. They're like going between the train and the wall and like.
You're literally waiting
And
for
the-
the ping bong.
Bing bong.
Ping
Bong.
pinball noise to go off as it's going on. And plus the grunts and groans as he's punching Sandman. It's just... Are you okay, Tobey Maguire?
Oh.
Do you need me to get you something? Do you need a coffee, laxative, something?
It means everything to me.
Everything!
Maybe if I yell it louder, it will make the acting better.
I mean, I love Tobey Maguire. He is amazing in this trilogy. I've never seen him before in any other movie, so I don't know any of his other roles or if he's good in any of those movies, but 1 and 2, he's good.
I've only ever seen him. I think the only other movie I've seen him in is Pleasantville, and I really liked that one.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in that one. Okay, yeah, so I can testify, Tobey Maguire can be a good actor when he wants to be.
Yeah.
Like Pleasantville, he is the straight man, he is really good. Spider-Man 1 and 2, he can play the depressed character really good.
Yeah, like the drama in the second movie, they sold it so well. But like in this movie, it is just like it is so artificial and so like just not convincing
I mean,
at all.
I think most people would have described him as emo Peter Parker in
Oh, the way
this
he
movie.
like his like hair, like, he did
I-
the emo swish.
I can say right now, as soon as we saw the emo swish, I was right there with J.K. Simmons wanting to beat the shit out of Tobey Maguire. I get in this movie there's the joke with the heart pills where he's trying to be less angry, but yeah, no. This would have been the moment where I'd like to have seen him go after Peter Parker and beat the shit out of him. And speaking of the pain pill scene,
Oh yeah, every time you like reach for the wrong bottle.
I love the actress in this movie. It's just like, she's been dealing with so much shit in the past couple of movies. It's just like,
Revenge.
I want to make that my ringtone. Like,
Eh.
nope, not that one. No, not that one either. Yes, that one. Just, there are some funny scenes in this movie. I will admit that. Like, there are your hilarious ones like the buzzer scene, and then there's emo Peter Parker. The cringy, bad scenes that everyone points to in this movie.
But that one wasn't intentionally funny. The buzzer scene was intentionally funny.
Exactly, that's my point.
Okay.
But also the romance between Peter and Mary Jane is just horrible in this movie. Like, I even mentioned this while we were watching this. It is an old trope that has been done for years, the misunderstanding. Like, Mary Jane won't tell him what's wrong, where Peter is so up his own ass that he won't even listen to her. And then he feels bad, she then feels bad, she leaves him, and you can kind of feel the pain that she feels in that scene. Like, she's crying, she doesn't want to leave him, but Harry is metaphorically holding a gun to her head at this point. But Harry gets amnesia in this movie. He forgets everything from the past 2 movies. He forgets his father's dead, and just...
Because he hits his head, right?
Because he hits his head.
And then all of a sudden he just remembers.
All out of nowhere, he sees the mirror and he just remembers everything.
Like how?
Like, there's no explanation for that. Also, how many times can James Franco hit his head in this movie? I mean...
Not enough.
First he hits his head because he's fighting Spider-Man. Then he hits his head because Venom bangs him into a pole. Just like... Are we watching Spider-Man or are we watching Looney Tunes?
You know... I can't tell the difference.
And, I mean, this could have been a good movie. I hear...
Like, there are, like, points in it, like...
the Flint Marco plotline?
Well, yes, the Sandman one, right?
Yeah, where he's, in the end, Peter forgives him for killing his uncle because he was just doing it so he could get money for his daughter who is sick and dying, and, well, we are rehashing something from the first movie that worked really well. I can kind of feel for this plotline. I mean, Sandman is supposed to be the main villain of this. And we don't see him as much as everyone else in this movie. Like, we've got too many villains in this movie. We've got essentially New Goblin, which is... I'm just gonna call him Goblin Jr. We've got Venom, Sandman, and Topher Grayson.
And Topher Grayson.
Which I'm counting him as his own villain because...
Yeah, because he takes over at the Daily Bugle.
He takes over. He also has this creepy obsession with Gwen Stacy, who makes her debut in this movie. I'm just gonna be frank. I said I didn't like this Venom in the original... in the my Venom review years ago, but I'm gonna be honest. If Topher Grayson had just shut his fucking mouth, I would have loved this character. I would have loved this version of Venom. Like, it's so scary, it's got the teeth, I could believe that this was Venom for a bit, despite not being as big as he's supposed to be, and...
I have, like I said to you before, I haven't seen the newer Venom movies, so I cannot speak to them. But I thought that, like, the Venom thing was a little weak in this one, to be honest. Just to counter what you're saying.
And it just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, you just landed
Like,
here.
I mean, yeah, they do the Clintar meteorite, but the symbiote comes in like 10 minutes into the movie, disappears. We get like little chunks of it being in his room. We get the scene with Kirk Connors. Later on in the movie, we get more of the black suit before we finally wait an hour and 30 minutes to get Venom.
So, what you had said before about, like, Sam Raimi didn't like the character from Venom originally, like, in the comics, because he's, like, kind of, like, one note, and, like, you know, he's just an alien, he's just kind of evil. I feel like that just kind of translates here, you know? She just kind of... exists.
Yeah, but I also never mentioned to you that, yes, originally he hated Venom
I know you said, like, he, like, warmed up to the idea and, like...
because of the writer that was writing the Venom stories while they were making this movie. But after he read those stories, he warmed up to it. He came into it. But I'm gonna be honest, and again, I do love this Venom. I love the, I like Venom, not Eddie Brock.
Right.
But I would have liked to see what they did with Vulture and Lizard. Like,
Yeah, because they were supposed to be in this movie.
exactly. Now, this movie went through a lot of changes we forgot to mention. But yeah, instead of Venom, it was supposed to be the Vulture, which we don't know that storyline. And there was also supposed to be, like, Kurt Connors, who was helping with the, who took, Mr. Fantastic's place in this movie as the person that finds out that the Venom symbiote was an alien.
Me that it was supposed to be Mr. Fantastic.
But instead, we get Kurt Connors, who was supposed to, somehow create the lizard serum in this movie, become the lizard, and become the third bad guy instead of Venom.
It's like a red herring. Like all of the pieces are there, but then it just like adds up to nothing.
Exactly. I mean, again, Sandman, that story is good. Venom, the character design is good. New Goblin?
Not good.
No. I mean, they did have like a little Easter egg during the Goblin Cave scene where they showed the Hobgoblin mask. But they don't do anything with that. Instead, we get Goblin Jr., who's... I do remember saying that I love the Goblin costume in this movie. Like, it's futuristic, steampunk-esque. But Harry is just so bad in this movie.
Yeah.
The final battle is good. Sandman's design is fucking atrocious. Like, it's what you'd expect Clayface to be in a live-action movie.
I chalk it up to, like, dated graphics. Like, I don't think it's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, personally, like, it wasn't distracting. But I know it was distracting for you. You didn't like it at all.
For some reason, I thought it looked better. Like, I remember it being so good when I first watched this, and now I'm watching it, and it's just...
Well, I mean,
What the hell?
I think that's most CG movies, for me.
And I
Watching
guess
them
it might also be because we just saw No Way Home, and the graphics are so much better in that movie, and they made Sandman look so good in that movie. And again, I don't blame Sam Raimi. I don't blame him for any of this. He was forced into changing the way he wanted to make this movie. He was forced by Sony because, let's be honest, Sony is behind a lot of bad fucking ideas in these kinds of movies. I would have liked to have seen the fourth movie because that was supposed to redeem this one. That was supposed to have the Vulture and the Lizard brought back as characters, possibly Kraven the Hunter, and we may or may not ever get to see it because this movie was so bad.
I don't think that we'll ever get to see it.
I mean, it's a possibility because people do still like Tobey Maguire in this day and age. I mean...
Sure, I mean, if they release the Snyder Cut, I guess anything is possible.
Exactly.
We have to...
I mean, they are planning a possible Amazing Spider-Man 3, so...
Please, I've had enough.
I kind of want to see what Sam Raimi could do to fix this. After we see Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, which he is working on. Yeah, this is the worst Spider-Man movie in my opinion. Like, there is not enough here to redeem it.
I think it's just like, I don't know, it's like it's so bad it's good kind of thing.
I can't.
For me, it's just hilarious. I find it so funny. Oh, something we didn't address. that I wanted to talk about was Kirsten Dunst in this movie.
How done she was done with this movie?
She was so checked out. She was so tired of being the damsel in distress. You told me that she forced Sam Raimi to apologize to her.
She was so mad in this movie. Like, there was in the taxi scene, that was supposed to be Gwen Stacy that gets captured, put in the taxi, hung from the black webs, while Kirsten Dunst goes off and begs Harry to come help Spider-Man. Last minute, they change it to Mary Jane is put in the taxi and has to play the damsel in distress again. Gwen Stacy is gone. We don't see her anywhere after the Black Spider-Man.
Yeah, they just kind of do nothing with her character.
Exactly. She was just like the side, the second romantic lead that they were trying to say, oh, you guys remember Gwen Stacy from the comic books as one of Spider-Man's first lovers. Here she is. Hi, Gwen Stacy. Okay, get her out of here. Yeah, no, Kirsten Dunst was just so done with playing the damsel in distress.
And we were reading that, like, all of the screams were, like, from the first and second movies. Like,
she wouldn't even scream in this movie. They had to recycle everything from the first and second movie because she was just so done. And you can see it. Like, the last scene in this movie where she's singing to Peter, it's just like...
she's so bored.
She looks so bored in this movie, and I feel bad for her.
Yeah, because, like, she's a good actress. Like, there's more that you could do with her talents.
Exactly.
You know?
And, again, these are not bad actors. These are not bad actresses. I mean, we've got Topher Grayson, who is from the 70s show, a lot of people's favorite comedies.
Yeah.
You've got Tobey Maguire from Pleasantville and the rest of the Spider-Man movies. You've got Kirsten Dunst. We've also got Harry, who's played by James Franco. But yeah, these are not bad characters. They're just playing really bad roles in this movie. And I'm gonna be honest, 3 out of 10... I'm giving it an F-.
I'm not grading it because I like it, but not for the reasons you're supposed to like it.
I can't think of this as a Spider-Man movie anymore. It hurts me that this is the last thing anyone will ever remember Sam Raimi for.
Film, but I had like an actual headache, like at the front of my forehead after watching this.
It's just like...
I just like, oh my god, like some of it, I said I like it because it's funny, but like also some of it is just like so painful to watch.
It's bad. It's a bad comedy movie that should not have been made. In my opinion, they should have ended with Spider-Man 2 until they come up with a better storyline. Because this was just, it took them 100 days to film this, and it looks so badly filmed. The budget is just so bad in this movie, and I'm surprised it's one of the most, this had a huge box office. Like, $350 million came out of this movie. I'm sorry, guys. I agree that this is the shittiest Spider-Man movie I have seen, and we haven't even touched the Amazing Spider-Man movies yet.
I can't wait to watch the second Amazing Spider-Man because I have never seen it. I only know about it.
Oh, you are in for a ride. But yeah, this has been the Film Exorcist and Cinema Witch. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and click a little notification bell for more videos. And to keep up to date with our content, and
have a good night.
If you're gonna make a movie, don't put too many cooks in the kitchen. And don't put Spider-Man in a black suit unless you know what the hell you're doing.
Alright, that's enough.
Have a great night.